Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope you noticed something. And that something should be that the microphone sounds a lot better. Got a new microphone, got a new setup, got a new tripod, got a new lighting elements, so you know, it's all fine and dandy. Now, I'd like to talk about a story thing again. You recall in the last story time video, I had a staff, right? At the competitions in Tianjin. I had a particular staff that was different from the staff I used in the demonstration in the channel welcome trailer. And basically the reason for that is, when we go to compete in China, we never take our own weapons because it's a hassle. Why is it a hassle? Well, let me tell you. This story is a story about how we got weapons from point A to point B. And it was an adventure. Okay, let's get started. So, we started out in Zhejiang, in Taizhou. And we were staying at the Taizhou 国际文武学校, which is the Taizhou International Civil and Martial School. And this school is basically a boarding school for Kung Fu. So it's like Harry Potter, but with fighting instead of magic. A very fun concept, and it also meant that they could help us with our weapon purchases. So we purchased many weapons, but what you need to know is we bought a lot of swords, and we bought a load of staves and poles. And our staves and poles, some were about 2 meters and 60 centimeters long, because we were going to make spears out of these, and we needed long traditional spears like 大枪, big spears, lances, pikes, things like that. And that's where the problem begins, because we had to go from point Taizhou, Zhejiang to Shanghai, and from Shanghai we had to go to Tianjin to compete. Why go to Shanghai? Because we took a flight from Shanghai. There are no flights from Taizhou to Tianjin. So in Taizhou, the first problem we were faced with was, how do we get the weapons from Taizhou to Shanghai? Because that's a 6-hour ride and we can't just walk that. At least not within our time span. So at first we were planning to go by train. And if you go by train, Chinese security laws have tightened because of several insurgent attacks in the past. So what had happened was that basically we needed proof that we were going on a competition. So I asked the school for this proof. I asked the organizers in Tianjin for proof that we were going on a competition. And I got it, so that's good. But then the manager of the school, a good friend of mine, he said, you know what? I'm going to Shanghai anyway in a few days time, so let me just take you. Let me just drive you. So he drove us in a big car and everything fit inside, and we were happy. It was the best solution we could have ever hoped for. No checks, right, in the car. So then we came to Shanghai and he dropped us off at our hotel, and then basically we went to sleep. The next day we took these weapons to the airport. The airport was close by, and that's where the trouble began. Because the moment we entered the airport, okay, picture yourself this. 3 Western looking people and 1 Chinese looking guy, me, enter the airport with a big cardboard box that's clearly oversized luggage, and basically 2 guys carrying a tree trunk. Why? Because we had 5 or 6 of those big staves which we are going to make spears out of, and we packed them inside plastic and cardboard, so it looked like we were carrying a tree trunk into the airport. So we put the thing in the X-ray machine, and we put our bags in the X-ray machine, and basically everything was filtered out, and they took everything out, and they said, what's in here? Why are you taking daggers into the airport? I was thinking to myself, daggers? We don't have daggers. And then it dawned on me, it was the spear points. We had bought a load of spear points. And they weren't just any spear points you see in modern wushu, like those hollow ones. No. They weren't even stainless steel. We had bought some pattern welded Damask type steel, like spear points, like they were like this big. The collar, the neck of the spear came up to here, and the rest was all blade. And then I bought these ugly, with the hammer marks still on, you know, this forge finish spear point, like this broad and this long also. So every one of us had one of those in our bags. So we were thinking that each of us had a dagger with us to stab people with, which was obviously not the case. Well, at least I didn't think it was. And yeah, there were questions. So they said, hold on, we're gonna get a police officer to come take a look at this. Fine. A few minutes later, this guy waltzes in actually, with his attitude, and he asked, "What's going on here?" And he took the spear point out of the packaging, the pattern welded one, and he took a look at it, and he ran his finger across. "No, this is quite sharp. You could do some damage with this, you know." And I said, yes, we know, but hear us out, we're going on a competition, etc., etc., all explaining work. And I showed him the letters, we got the permissions, right? And he said, and then he looked me dead in the eye and he said, "Chinese martial arts or Japanese martial arts?" And I said, "Well, obviously Chinese." And he said, okay, go, off you go then. As easy as that. So it was really on his whim. If he didn't like it, he probably could have taken all of our weapons. Then he held me by the arm and he said, "You know, listen, the fact I let you through does not mean they'll let you on the plane with these things, because I am responsible for airport security, but if the airline does not want to transport your weapons, then you're out of luck." And I said, "Yes, I realize that." He said, "Good. I wish you good luck." And then we were off. So out of the four of us, one of us was going back to Europe earlier, and she was flying from Shanghai, and her flight was before our flight. So good, we thought. We gave her the swords because we weren't using those swords in the competition, so she could just take them and we didn't have to worry about them. So the moment we checked those swords in, the alarm went off, right? Beep, 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 beep. What is this? We had to go and open it up. And basically we opened up the cardboard box and we took out a sword. And he said, "What is this?" He said, "Tools for practicing martial arts with." And then I deliberately avoided the word weapon because probably that wouldn't have turned out well. Especially since the Chinese passed a new law, the 管制刀具 are not allowed on planes. 管制刀具 are controlled bladed weapons, basically big knives, swords, anything bladed. But the thing I took out was a flexible wushu sword, like that, and it's not a weapon, it's harmless. And he looked at it and said, "And the rest of the swords are all like this?" And I said, Yep, they are. And he said, "Okay, then you can go." Words cannot describe how elated I was because, you know, my heart was beating fast and I was probably having a bead of sweat dripping down my forehead, but luckily we passed. So this person, she left and everything was fine. Then us, the rest of us, we still had the spears with us, and those still had to go through the check-in process. We were standing in line at the check-in, and this lady came walking up to us and she said, "I can already see that this is not going to get through check-in." And I said, "Why?" "In the past, we managed to get our spears through too, and they were just as long as these." And he said, "I don't care what happened to you in the past. My airline has rules, my company has rules, and I'm just following them. Simple as that." So very businesslike, and I talked to other people in, when we actually went to the check-in, and they all said, "No, it's too long. It's 超长. It's exceeding the limits for the length, the size limit, and it does not even fit with the oversized luggage." So I said, despairing almost, then what are we supposed to do? Throw these things away? And they said, no, 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 you still have one option. And I said, what then? The post office. I said, a post office? We asked before, but they wouldn't take it. And then they said, well, it's worth a try, right? And I said, okay, whatever, it's worth a try. So we went there. It's a 10-minute walk from the check-in to the post office. It's still in the terminal, but it's just far away. Chinese public transport buildings are way too big usually. But yeah, we went there and we got there and we had to go through a checkpoint to go there. Basically, we were leaving the secured area. And then we got there and there were 5 booths. And 4 of them were manned and 1 of them was not. And to top it off, there were even more post offices on the other side of the terminal. So first we asked these manned booths, could you deliver these staves for us to Tianjin? And they all said no, oversized. Okay, and I said, what can we do? They said, oh, there's a few other post offices on the other side of the terminal, maybe they'll take you. So I say, okay, let's go there. So that was about another 10-minute walk, so we went there. And then we got there and they basically said the same thing. They said, no, no, we don't do this. Maybe the other guys will help you. And I said, they just sent us here. And they said, okay, then we're out of luck. Then you're out of luck. And then we did mention there was one unmanned booth. And I told them the name of that one. And they said, yeah. That one transports goods by train. So they might not have these size limits. Because the other ones were by plane and then by car. So those all have a size limit. So we went back another 10 minutes later and we came there and the booth was still unmanned. So we asked the guys working next to them, like, when are they coming back? They're like, yeah, they're having lunch. And I was looking at my clock. Our check-in, the limit for our check-in was in half an hour. So if they did not come back within 20 minutes, we would not make it back to our check-in. But a miracle happened, and we were pacing in front of that booth, and I was saying to my team, if they don't make it back within 20 minutes, we just have to go, we just have to dump these staves. But I kid you not, they came back the last minute before we decided to leave. And this guy just showed up with his slippers, with his short shorts. He said, well, hello there. How can I help you? This guy, you will not believe how fast we went through the entire ordering process. It was like lightning speed. I don't even know what happened. And within 3 minutes, everything was done. Contacts, payment, address, everything was done. And then we just sprinted back to our check-in because it took us 3 minutes and I said it was the last minute before we had to leave. So we went back and checked in and everything was fine. And we went to Tianjin and it was good. And we could sigh a deep sigh of relief. And the next worrying period would not come until we would leave for Beijing. That's a story for another time. I've taken up enough of your time. So if you enjoyed the story, I hope you leave a like, I hope you subscribe, and see you in the next one. Cheers.